ليس الأطفال، ليس الأطفال.
سنجد سبيلا. سنجد سبيلا.
I was never much of a one for charity. Being kind to the poor makes my skin itch. Embarrassment, I suppose. I didn't go into politics to bear the white man's burden. He can carry it for himself. Still, know your customers, they say. Dear Lord, let me always live in a wet country. They've had no rain here for 5 years, and no alcohol since Islam came out of the desert. But like my mother always told me, if you can't be with the one you love, then love the one you're with.
Look at them, madame. I ask you, look at them. You see the orphans of Africa. They are desperate. They have no future. They are human garbage.
Thank you. I can see for myself. I don't need captions.
It's Meckley. This is a flour ration for a family of 5 for 1 month. This time last year, the ration was one of these a week.
World grain prices are beyond even my control, I'm afraid.
The people we passed on the road, where were they making for?
They go to the city. They live like goats. They eat whatever they can scavenge. Even the refuse in the streets.
Over the past year, they'd given up hope of going home. Some of them even dream of emigration. Egypt, Libya, Italy, Spain.
You go that far?
Some even dream of America. They aren't just starving peasants in the camps these days. We get all sorts.
What does it cost to feed these people?
At an absolute minimum, $50 a head. That's per year, of course.
What's the total number that we're talking about?
It's impossible to say. Millions. If the rains fail again this year, there could be as many as 3 million people unable to support themselves.
The situation is quite desperate. Quite desperate. Look at them. I beg you, madame. Look at them.
This is the man. You said you wanted to meet someone who speaks English.
Are you the one who speaks English?
Yes, madam.
I work for the European Community. I'm the Commissioner for Development. I've come here to find out what we can do to help.
You could come and live here. I could go and live in your house.
That's enough.
No. It's all right. Let him speak.
You can do nothing. We are poor because God made us this way. Nothing can be done about it. You may go home.
I don't think we can blame it all on God.
Then, we must choose to be poor. The hard sun makes us lazy and stupid. You can do nothing.
No, I don't think that either. Why don't you stop telling me what I think and tell me what you think?
I think we are poor because you are rich.
I'm sorry, but I don't agree. The situation isn't that simple. We spend a lot of money on aid to Africa, but most of it never reaches the people who need it. We're not the only problem.
They say that in Europe you have many cats.
Cats?
Small animals.
Yes, I know what cats are.
They say that the cost of keeping a cat is more than $200 a year.
I've no idea, really.
Let us come to Europe as your pets. We can drink milk. We can lie by the fire. We can lick your hand. We can purr. And we're much cheaper to feed.
This man is playing stupid games. Come, let's go on. Men like that are troublemakers.
He's right about the cost of keeping a cat.
Yes, but it's so childish, really. It reminds me of myself, age 6, being told to finish up my supper. Think of all the poor starving in Africa. I don't want it, I said. They can have it. Send it to them. The world is a little more complicated than that.
Well, don't tell me, Claire. I'm not disagreeing with you.
What's his name? The joker back there.
Isa El Malik.
Mr. El Mahdi, that may well work on the Americans and the British and the Germans, but I'm Irish and I'm not having it. My people have been colonized. Our land has failed us. We have starved in our millions, so don't go pulling your guilt number on me. All right. You've been exploited. I've got news for you. So has everybody else. It's a hard world.
Some parts of the world are harder than others.
We have poured hundreds of millions of dollars into Africa. Where's it all gone? I'll tell you, into presidential palaces, into tanks and fighter planes, into giant dams that don't work, into luxury goods for corrupt elites and genocidal tribal wars.
Come on, Claire, you've made your point.
No, look, I am not going to patronize him, Roy. He's an intelligent man and he can take it. If we're ever to find a way out of this mess, we have to start by telling each other the truth. Isn't that right, Mr. El Mahdi?
The truth is, you will go home, and we will die. We live invisible lives. We die invisible deaths.
What do you expect us to do about that? Watch you die?
If we must die, yes. I want you to watch us die.
Well, will it do?
What?
Will it do?
Well, what do?
The crisis. Is it dramatic enough? Will it give the requisite boost to your carefully planned meteoric career?
As far as I can recall, meteors start off fine and then foot.
The famous Fitz Thatcher, the darling of the Dáil, huh? The youngest commissioner in Brussels?
Well, I didn't ask for this job, did I?
You wanted Brussels.
Brussels, yes. Aid and development, no. I'm just not nice enough for it.
So what? They don't need someone to cry over them. What they need is a hustler. Like you.
Do you think I can do anything for them?
A little. Maybe.
They need a lot.
See, their mistake is they're not actually starving.
Not yet.
First they starve, then they get aid. That's the correct procedure.
Tell me something, Roy. Do you believe the things you say, or did you just open your mouth and let them fall out?
Tell me something, Claire. Is it true that when you were 9 years old, you paid for your bubble gum by selling kisses?
Not at all. What an outrageous fabrication. I used the money to buy cigarettes. People going to abandon their homeland for no reason. The rains have failed for 4 of the last 5 years. The land has died under them.
Der Hilfe gibt Ihnen Ihr Land auch nicht zurück.
Certo che serve di più. Serve sempre molto di più.
Wir haben es mit einer Reihe komplexer eigentlicher Ursachen.
Yes, I know. Misuse of land, global warming. We should all stop burning fossil fuels. What do we do in the meantime? Sit back and watch them die?
Bien, je tiens à préciser qu'il faudrait faire de notre mieux pour que tout soit terminé pour 5 heures au plus tard. Après ça, la circulation est impossible.
Vielleicht ein Bericht über die Situation, ja?
Under Article 203 of the Lomé Convention, we have the power to vote an emergency aid package.
Nothilfe löst nur die allernächste Krise. Aber was passiert dann?
Vorremmo dar da mangiare al mondo, ma non possiamo.
Wäre es klug, ganz unerfüllbare Erwartungen aufkommen zu lassen?
Je suggère que Madame Fitzgerald fasse des propositions plus détaillées que nous pourrions étudier avant notre prochaine réunion.
Genau.
I can give you my report now. People going cheap, buy now while stocks last.
L'Amérique est déjà très embouteillée.
الطعام عاد لي عندنا أكفينا الدواء بعد دعلي باريس لندن فيينا وروما
نحن مجانين أليس كذلك؟
مجانين إذا بقينا هنا
Guess who's coming to dinner?
Sudan to Europe on foot? Can they do it?
Napoleon's army marched from Paris to Moscow. Mao Zedong's army marched from somewhere...
This isn't an army.
No, I don't suppose Napoleon had too much trouble over immigration visas.
Recent cuts in food aid have brought chaos to the great refugee camps of Sudan and... Issa al-Mahdi? Isn't that the fellow we met?
Very same.
Al-Mahdi's group are believed to be following the old Salt Road. Their route takes them through hundreds of miles of the harshest desert in the world. God, it's so pathetic. Makes me angry.
Don't you think we can do something with it?
Like what? They haven't a prayer.
Well, you don't know that. All you know is that there are millions of them. And they're on their way.
Quite right. You clever boy.
Press conference?
No, I don't think so.
You're not hearing this. You, it's Roy Cox. Not for attribution, all right? No, the Commissioner trying to sit on this one. In case it causes panic.
Okay, give it to me, Roy.
Das sind Sie? Kann nicht sein. Das sind zu wenige. Das sind Sie, das müssen Sie sein. Los, runter, das gucken wir uns an. Anybody here speak English?
Hi. Are you Americans?
German. Television news. Are you the guys who are walking to Europe?
Yes.
Where's the others?
What are those?
This is everybody.
Yes.
Was machen wir jetzt? Nehmen wir, was da ist. Aber es soll Millionen sein.
Wir sind jetzt 3 Tage unterwegs, nur um hierher zu kommen. 3 Tage. Willst du ohne eine Story nach Hause kommen?
Okay, okay. Wir nehmen, was wir kriegen können.
Geh nah ran. Treib sie zusammen, damit das Bild voll wird.
How did you know about us?
It's not very sensitive, but it attracts attention.
So I see.
I'd like to take a few shots of you people on the move. Could I do that?
Jawohl.
Anker.
Bitte. Haraka jamian. Ilihabu. Araha. Araka. Auf Wiedersehen.
Na also, das sieht danach was aus. Geht doch, die Sache läuft.
Hello, Jenny. Good meeting.
Diabolical. What do I need to know?
German television has run a piece on the march, and your husband rang.
Get Aiden back. Get a tape from the Germans.
What if they won't release it?
Don't tell me what can't be done. Tell me what can be done.
It's currently 47.
This is CNN's Prime
Yes.
News with Blue Water.
Oh, listen, I thought I'd be able to get home this weekend, but I just can't.
Bloody hell.
I know, I'm sorry, love. Any chance of your being able to make it over here?
No, I'm afraid
afraid not. Look, I've had a few problems here. Your mother's been acting a bit strange.
What? Tell me.
Well, she's been shouting at people in the street. She's been attacking people for parking their cars outside her house. It's getting a bit strange. I know something on her mind, I think. It's
What was that?
Well, she's been shouting at people in the street for parking outside her house. And
Oh, Lord, no. I'm sorry, Aiden. Is she doing actual damage?
Well, she hit a car with a shovel. But apart from that, not too bad, really.
Oh, God, poor Mum. I didn't realize. I'm sorry, love, really. Not fair on you.
Mate.
Oh, Jesus!
What have I done now?
No, not you, Aiden. Life.
These are the world's forgotten people. Driven from their homeland by the advancing desert, they have no means of support and nowhere to go. But still they have a dream. Their dream is to walk all the way to Europe.
We believe that when you see us before you, you will not let us die. That is why we come to Europe. If you will not help us, there is nothing more we can do. We will die, and you will watch us die. And may God have mercy on us all.
Marcus Brown sees the audience mark.
Did you hear that, Roy? Watch us die.
There's a man who knows which button to press.
Is that what we're doing, letting them die?
It's not as simple as that.
We should be watching this.
In Detroit this afternoon, controversial Congressman Marcus Brown described the African March as an historic development. Maxine Lasko has the story.
Marcus Brown plays well in inner-city Motown. This time, his Bitch the Rich message had a new angle. According to Brown, an army of poor African blacks is poised to invade Europe.
And the poor people of Africa are saying, that's it. We've had enough. We're coming over to your place. We hear you having a party, and we're not invited, but we're coming anyway. So watch out, fat man. We got a new diet for you. It's called We Want What You Got.
I better talk to Lemonnier.
What do they want? A global welfare state?
Well, we can't just pretend it isn't happening.
Never get to Europe.
Maybe not, no, but it's going to get bigger, and it's going to get a lot more press.
It's a media circus, that's all it is. This Marcus Brown.
Oh, the Marcus Brown is a symptom, not a cause.
All those dictators and Marxist one-party states, their day is over.
Yes. They're corrupt, their populations are out of control, they spend all their money on guns. I do know, really, but we can still do something.
Do you really think so?
Well, it does happen to be my job at present, Jean-Claude.
I think we've been treating the poor countries like children. We think we have all the answers. We think only we can save them. But we can't. We failed. Maybe it's time for Africa to grow up and solve its own problems.
What if they're poor because we're rich?
Connery.
ينضمون إلينا. لا يوجد عندنا ما يكفي من الطعام.
ربما يكون لديهم طعامهم.
يجب أن نعتني بأنفسنا وإلا لن نعيش.
لا، إننا نحتاج إلى لف لأننا لذلك يمكننا أن نعيش.
قلت لك ارجع ارجع ولا يلا 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 طلع الورود طلعوا حاجاتكم يحكي لنا شيل الماء اللي كلها
إذا أنتم معنا صفا نموت. لستم إنسانين، أنتم حيوان.
كان يجب أن نقاتلهم.
لكانوا قد قاتلونا.
على أي حال إننا سنموت.
لنواصل مسيرنا.
نسير إلى أين؟ لماذا نفعل ما تأمرنا به؟ أنت مجنون، أنت تريد أن تهلكنا جميعا.
أنا لم. أنا أموت. لنواصل مسيرنا.
Glad to be out of that place.
Brussels?
The commission.
You're well warned.
I tell you, it's so constipated there. I've already forgotten what it feels like to have a
sense of achievement.
Thank you, Aiden.
So Africa wasn't so good then?
Well, expected that. It still depressed me, to be honest.
Poverty.
It's a fatalism, I think. It's this feeling you get that there's never going to be a way out of the mess, you know? Go on. Go on. Look, I'm sorry, Aidan. I thought I could stand it, but I can't. So, I suppose you better tell me about Mum.
Well, it's a memory. Look, don't be surprised if she doesn't recognize you.
Of course I know who you are. Why shouldn't I know my own daughter?
How are you, Mum?
Ah, well enough. They tell me I'm going senile. I can't say I've noticed it.
Well, Aidan says that sometimes you forget things.
Most things are better forgotten.
I do worry about you a bit.
You have better things to worry about than me. You've become a very important person, Claire. A VIP.
Well, that's because of you, isn't it? You always told me I could do it. Even when I couldn't.
Have you had your bath yet? You know it's back to school tomorrow.
Well, last week, she left a kettle to boil dry. She very nearly set the house on fire. She gets lost coming home from the shops.
Dear God, this is a woman who could do anything. Never ill. Never discouraged. I thought she was the most powerful person in the whole world.
Look, we're going to have to do something about her soon, Claire.
When she held me in her arms, I was in heaven. If I close my eyes, I can still smell her smell. I can still feel her scratchy cardigan against my cheek. And those buttons. Bloody leather buttons. What's happening to the world, Aidan?
هنا أيها الرئيس. ابدأ أنت في طريقك. الله معك.
The Libyans pledged their full support to El Mahdi and his march, saying, "You are the spirit of suffering Africa. The oppressed poor of the world are waking from their long sleep."
Give me that again.
The Libyans...
No, suffering Africa.
"You are the spirit of suffering Africa. The oppressed poor of the world are waking from their long sleep."
It's happening, Jack. I really think it's happening at last.
See pretty apple, top of the tree. The higher up, sweeter it goes. Picking fruit, you gotta be up on your toes. See pretty penthouse, top of the roof. The higher up, the higher it goes. Get that dough, don't be a goof. Up on your toes, they climb the clouds to come through with their mail. The dancing crowd look up to some rare mail. See pretty apple, top of the tree. The higher up, sweeter it goes. Picking fruit, you gotta be up on your toes. See pretty penthouse, top of the roof. The higher up, the higher it goes. Get that dough, don't be a goose. Up
Mummy,
on your toes, they
who are those men?
to come through with their...
What you've just seen is a dramatization. The march of the landless poor of Africa has not yet crossed the borders of Europe. But even as we speak, they're crossing Libya, heading this way. It's their publicly stated intention to come into our streets, into our homes, and shame us into helping them. Or, as they say, watch us die. So what do we think?
Why do you do things like
what do we
that?
think about starving Africans coming through
Well,
our
it doesn't
front
scare
doors?
people.
Yes, sir. Yes? Are you prepared to watch them die?
Well, what I want to say is, I feel sorry for them, but they've got their own countries, and that's where they should be, not coming over here.
They say that their land has turned into a desert.
Well, that's not our fault, is it? We can't help the weather.
Isn't it our pollution that's creating the greenhouse effect?
Good man, good man.
Yes, the lady with the brooch.
I think we should help them, but that doesn't mean they should all come and live here.
So how can we help them?
Well, I wouldn't mind going without a few things if I thought it would help them.
Oh, for God's sake.
No, I think she's
So
right.
who else feels
That's
that
what it's
way?
all about.
Who else would accept a lower standard of living to help the world's poor if you really believed it would help? What do we feel about that here? Yes, you, sir.
Do you really mean that, Tom?
Not even Roy believes that we can go on this way forever.
What way would that be, Tom?
Our own private cinema, our own private transport system, our own private communication system, our own private refrigeration plant, our own private laundry, all sitting idle until it suits us to make use of them. It takes the entire wealth of the planet here to keep us in this luxury.
80% of the world's resources are consumed by 20% of its people. Tom on his soapbox again. He has terrible manners.
No, it's my fault. I asked for it.
All I'm trying to say is that the other 3 billion people in the world, they will never be able to live in this luxury. Never. The planet hasn't got the resources for it.
So what is going to happen to them?
One day, we have to start to consuming less, or...
Or what?
Haven't you heard his Third World War speech yet?
Third World War? Or Third World War? Or both?
Right, shut up.
Well,
Go on, Tom.
well, it's all right for us to watch them on our televisions. But what will happen when they start to see us? You know there are televisions in Africa too? What do you think they see when they see some old reruns of I Love Lucy. They spend all the day looking for firewood, and there they see Lucy Ball just switch on the cooker. How long do you think they will put up with it? You know what we are creating?
Global apartheid.
Global apartheid. And if we want to go on in this luxury one day, soon, we are going to have to fight for it. I mean, fight for it. Skål.
Skål.
Today I'm proud to march with Isa al-Mahdi, the Gandhi of Africa.
The Gandhi of Africa.
I see fat men telling thin men what to do.
Marcus Brown sees the
Is al-Mahdi amenable to reason?
the rebellion of the have-nots against
Well,
the
I think he's an intelligent man.
as he likes to call them.
The visible people of the world.
Okay.
March.
You should go to Algeria, Claire. Try talking some sense into him.
For a giant coalition.
What can I offer
Every
him?
group that believes itself to be losing out in the division.
What will it take?
How much longer is 3/4 of the world going to go hungry, watching the rest of the world grow fat?
Brown's
The camps are seriously underfunded.
if only because the message is now winning.
You think we should give in to pressure?
As the march enters Algeria, linked protest marches have taken place in Washington, D.C., Paris, Cairo, and Mexico City. In Washington, several thousand mainly black protesters marched on the White House, chanting the name of the Mahdi, leader of the African March.
I have to admit, he has some bargaining power now.
What do you have in mind?
An emergency aid package.
In Mexico City, riot police moved in to control widespread looting that followed a similar protest march. Now that the Algerians have withdrawn their opposition to the march, European leaders are beginning to face the possibility that the Mahdi and his followers will succeed in their impossible dream after all.
This is
How much?
CNN's Prime News with Lou Waters.
50 million.
And for Susan Rook, Donna Kelly at the CNN Center in Atlanta.
This Marcus Brown, he's a genius to my mind. A lot of congressmen want to be president, but only he would think of starting his campaign in Africa.
We're poor because you're rich. It's a line that plays well all over the world.
Do you think al-Mahdi really believes it?
I think he feels it. I don't think he's thought it through. If you just talk to me, we'll get somewhere.
Why should he talk to you when he can make speeches on television?
Well, I know. Maybe too late already. Do you know who the Mahdi is in history? A kind of prophet. An Islamic messiah who's going to bring a golden age of justice to the world. How do I argue with that?
By the time they reach the Algerian border, the original marchers will have covered over 2,000 kilometers. The march is in reality a loose alliance of many marches, most of which have joined only in the last few weeks, as it begins to look as if it might succeed. What they will do if it does remains the big unanswered question. But for most of them, the goal is probably very simple, a job that pays a wage on which they can live.
There's your march, Claire.
My God. It's a migration. You're famous now. The Great Mahdi.
You know, El-Mahdi is a very common name. We're not all prophets.
A lot of people want you to be.
If a man tells you you're a chicken, you say he's a fool. If two men tell you you're a chicken, you say they're crazy. If three men Teddy, you're a chicken. Sit down and try to lay an egg.
Any luck? Any eggs? They're using you. Do you know that?
Perhaps all of us are being used. Perhaps even you too. Now tell me why you have come.
All right, I'll get to the point. Because of the attention that you've generated, the camps will now get all the aid money they need, and more. That's quite an achievement.
You've seen the camp. Do you want to live there?
Well, right now, the camps are the only means we have of keeping people alive. The bigger changes have to come one day, but right now our job is to get the food to the people who really need it.
When I was a boy, we were taught that if we studied hard and worked hard, our country would develop. And one day, maybe not for a long time, but one day, we would be rich too. I believed that. I studied hard, I worked hard, but my country became poorer and poorer. And one day came, and we had nothing.
Well, there are 100 different reasons for that.
No. No more reasons. Too many reasons. I don't like your reasons. You have reasons. We have nothing.
This march won't change that. You won't be allowed into Europe. You won't be given land or jobs or houses. Go back now, and I can promise you a much better life in the camps. Go on, and you could...
What are we to lose?
Maybe your lives. Let me tell you, Mr. El Mahdi, this march looks very much like a threat. People don't like to be threatened. It makes them respond with violence.
You know, already there are rumors of people who want to kill me. Truly. That's fame, isn't it? When total strangers want you to die.
I don't understand. What do you hope to gain from it?
Maybe nothing. But we had nothing before, so why not? They say travel broadens the mind.
The march will continue, and I believe it will reach the borders of Europe. I have not been able to persuade Mr. El Mahdi that its effect will be counterproductive, nor have I been able to convince him that his analysis of the crisis in Africa is oversimple. There is no analysis. The marchers are ill-informed, disorganized, and virtually directionless. But I have been in that march, and I tell you, it has power. It shouldn't have. It should be a rabble. But it has real cohesion, a sense of destiny. It is held together by a single, simple idea. We're poor because you're rich. Now, that may be naive, but it is powerful. I now believe that we have seriously underestimated this whole movement. It doesn't take sophisticated analysis to mobilize an entire people. All it takes is one simple idea that feels right. I therefore urge the Commission, whatever the division of blame, we have the power to help. After the war, in 4 years, the Marshall Plan poured $16 billion into Europe. That's around $200 billion at today's prices. It worked. It rebuilt Europe. I believe that the time has come for a Marshall Plan for Africa.
Ma abbiamo già promesso di aiutare l'Europa orientale. Dove troveremo queste somme enormi?
Well, I don't suggest that Europe bears the burden alone.
Der Wiederaufbau Deutschlands nach dem Krieg war auch ein politischer Wiederaufbau. In Afrika haben wir es immer noch mit mangelhaften und korrupten politischen Systemen zu tun.
We have so many good reasons for doing nothing. But every year the world gets smaller. Africa is not so far away anymore. This march is a symbol of a new reality. They're getting closer and they're so poor they have nothing to lose. How much longer can we afford to do nothing?
Vous pensez que la marche atteindra les frontières de l'Europe?
Yes. Southern Spain.
Et alors?
Well, I propose that we work with them. Allow a part of the march into Europe, a smaller, more controllable contingent. Use the publicity to push Africa up the political agenda.
C'est un problème de la politique d'immigration, ça relève du Conseil des ministres. Je suggère que vous assistiez à la prochaine réunion et que vous leur fassiez votre proposition. Mesdames, messieurs, à la prochaine.
It's not a question of immigration.
It is now.
El Mahdi's march has crossed Morocco's Atlas Mountains and is now only a few days from the Straits of Gibraltar. If they make it, an estimated 250,000 Africans will then be only 10 short miles from the coast of Europe.
So you're 5 hours behind us, right? Now listen, my thinking is we make the landing early morning. 8 my time, the latest. I don't know what day. Could be any day now. Listen, Jerry, don't tell me I don't understand your problems. I know what a satellite link costs. Say we make the landing at 6 local time. Now that's 10 p.m. on the West Coast, so New York is asleep. So what? You edit it good and tight and hit them in both eyes over breakfast. Yeah. Good.
Now for the fun.
How many boats can we get?
Not enough. We're working on it.
إذا استخدموا الزوارق المسلحة ليقاتلونا.
Case.
What's that?
I'm saying they can't stop us at sea.
No way. Boats full of defenseless refugees? They're not gonna sink us live on TV. We find a spot for the landing where the water is shallow. The boats can get in close. We wade the rest.
We must all come ashore together. Make sure everyone understands that. And once we go, there's no turning back.
They may shoot off a few guns to scare us, not to kill.
كنت لهم أعرف أن إفريقيا قريبة من أوروبا 20 كيلومترا بحرا ستكون أطول في الدنيا لكن سنلتهم جميعا The people of Europe ask, why are we coming? We come to ask you a question. Why do you have so much and we have so little? Is it because you are better people than us? Have you done such things that you deserve more? If so, tell us what they are, and we will do them. But perhaps you have no answer. Perhaps you will tell us, God made the world this way. We can't help you. Go home and suffer in silence. Go home and die. Then we say to you, we have no home. We will suffer here in front of you. We will die here on the streets of Europe. We have no power but this, to choose where we die. All we ask of you is, watch us die. No guns. I say no guns. What's the use of killing me? Am I the only poor man in the world? If you want to stop this, you'll have to kill all of them too. Can you do that? Do you have enough bullets?
Este no es solamente un problema español. Estas personas están reclamando el derecho de entrada a todo el continente.
Et ils sont armés.
Those are Americans holding American guns. This is a media distortion.
Cela veut-il dire que cette marche ne représente aucun danger, commissaire?
It's a symbolic action. It's not a military invasion.
The issue is control of access to Europe.
Este no es un problema español solamente. No será este el único acontecimiento de esta naturaleza.
This is a highly publicized and possibly armed attempt to break immigration controls. If we allow it to succeed, we encourage others to do the same.
Mi gobierno propone la creación de una fuerza neutral para mantener la ley internacional. Una fuerza semejante a las tropas de paz de las Naciones Unidas.
We cannot afford to use force. There are hundreds of thousands of them. What are you going to do? Gun them down on the beaches? This is not an immigration problem. It's much bigger than that.
Nous le savons, commissaire, mais nous devons prendre une décision politique immédiate. Une décision concernant notre politique d'immigration. Soit nous les laissons entrer, soit nous ne le faisons pas.
Or we make a deal.
Ou alors nous négocions.
Let the marches take place, but with smaller numbers under proper control.
Eso es imposible.
Why should they get preferential treatment?
Well, think of it as a safety valve. There is a hell of a lot of pressure building up out there.
Croyez-vous qu'ils accepteraient votre compromis?
I don't know. Let me put it to them.
Combien d'entre eux devrions-nous laisser entrer?
5 or maybe 10,000.
Très bien, commissaire. Faites de votre mieux pour améliorer la situation.
Isn't just about immigration, it's about whether we believe we still live in the same world as them. I mean, what do we want? A new Iron Curtain?
Excuse me, Claire. Don't ask too much of us, Claire. We can save the whole world. What is it?
It's my mother. Book me on the next plane to Dublin. I have to go to Gibraltar. I'll go there straight from Dublin. Don't know when. I'll ring you from Dublin. Get Roy to go on ahead.
Right. Is anything wrong?
Oh. We just push it all out of sight, really, don't we?
You coming? It doesn't have to be forever, love. Just until we can sort something out. It's a good place.
You didn't have the right.
She's not safe on her own anymore, love.
She's not your mother. You didn't have the right. You should have waited.
Who for? For you?
She's my mother. You didn't have the right.
So where were you? Did you go looking for her when she walked off down the railway line? Did you pull her out of the bath when she got in with all her clothes on? No, you were miles away making the world a better place. I can't deal with her anymore, Claire. I've tried and I've given up. I'm sorry. That's how it is. That's just how it is.
Oh, God, Eden, I can't bear it. I can't bear it.
Stupid, blind, pig-headed woman.
I'm sorry. Hello, Mom. It's me. It's Claire.
Her memory's gone, Claire.
Sorry. I really am.
This European security force is in a right old mess. The French won't talk to the Italians, Spanish won't talk to the French, and everyone hates the English. Still, there's an English officer in command, so if it all goes wrong, they can blame the well-known hooliganism of the Brits.
What's it looking like, Jack? We figure we can put 40,000 on the beach in one go. What kind of reception are we expecting? A lot of troops, they call it ride control.
The Navy?
Nothing we know about.
The TV guys got their link up ready?
All set.
Good. We'll do it.
Marty says we sail at first light.
We land at first light.
Why should we listen to you? Because of your guns, we are now seen as an armed mob. You belong with them, not with us. You have no right to give us orders.
A few hours earlier. That's all I'm asking. The timing is better this way, believe me.
Better for who? For television?
You have to time these things right.
This is just a show for you, isn't it? None of this is real. All that's real to you is the pictures that go on television.
Yes, my friend. That's what matters. That's what we're making here. Pictures. Pictures for the Americans to look at. The British, the French, the Germans, the Chinese, the Mexican, all the world. Pictures of visions. Pictures of ideas. Pictures of what changes the world. What else are you doing here? You don't have a movement. You don't have a policy. You don't have a plan. All you've got is a picture in your head. When you land on the beaches of Europe, and the fat men see you live on their TVs, they won't know who you are or why you've come. But that picture will go inside their heads and blow their skulls wide open.
All right. We learned at first light.
Chap in charge is called Wells. Here's a police launch standing by.
How long before they get here?
They reckon about 2 hours.
Right, thanks.
Forgive me for hauling you out of bed. I'm afraid if there's to be any negotiating, it has to be now.
I'm ready.
I've got a fast boat for you. And an escort just in case.
Oh, no need for the escort. They won't hurt me.
You know we have reason to believe they're armed.
Do they look to you like an army?
Well, let's just agree that we'd all be much happier if you could get them to turn back.
I'll do my best. Now, what are your arrangements for the controlled entry?
What controlled entry?
Well, what I'm offering them. Smaller marches, later, under more control.
My orders are to deny them entry.
Then what am I supposed to be negotiating?
I'm no politician, Commissioner.
Where do your orders come from, General?
From the Joint Chiefs of the European Security Force.
What's going on, Roy? I've been dropped right in it, haven't I?
Could just be crossed wires.
Double-crossed wires, you mean? What the hell do I do now?
Go ahead as planned. Try to make it stick later.
What, lie to El Mahdi?
Well, like Marcus says, you don't have to be truthful to be righteous.
Oh, every damn thing in creation may be a joke to you, Roy, but it's not a joke to me, all right?
Message received.
Sorry. Sorry, Roy. It's not your fault, but I really did think that I could do something here.
Commissioner, we're running out of time.
Yes, yes, I know.
If we're going to go, we should go.
I'm going alone, Roy. If I have to lie, I'll do it better on my own. Mr. El-Mahdi.
Have you come to tell us to go home, Mrs. Fitzgerald?
I've come to try to stop people getting hurt.
Look.
Yes, I see it.
No, you don't. You don't see what I see. We've traveled almost as far as Columbus, Mrs. Fitzgerald. And there it is, just a little further, our newfound land.
Columbus wasn't met by troops.
Those beaches are going to be crawling with press. No one's going to get hurt.
What if they are? Will you take responsibility if people are killed?
Is that what you come to tell us? That you'll kill us to stay rich?
Listen to me. You don't know what you are doing. If you're killed in front of the world's press, do you honestly think that the rich people of the world will be so shocked, so ashamed that they'll throw open all their doors? They'll be shocked, yes, but they'll be terrified. They'll shut their doors and bolt them. They'll build a high wall to keep you out forever. They fear you already because you are poor. Make them kill you and they will hate you. And then what hope is there for you or for us? You'll be forever shut out and we'll be forever shut in. Is that what you want to die for?
What else can we do?
Turn your boats back. Go back to Morocco. We'll bring your people over in smaller numbers, 1,000 at a time. That way we keep everything calm and under control.
Bullshit! So long as they're under your control, there's no way you're going to let them in. Not until the day of judgment.
How do you know?
How do I know the sun's rising? I look. I see.
Well, if I'm wrong, you could put your fleet to sea again.
Yeah, when the fat man's ready.
Well, this isn't the way. Come to us peacefully, as our guests, not as an alien horde.
We turn back now. Will we be allowed into Europe peacefully? Later?
It's the only way.
If you give me your word, I'll believe you.
I want it to happen that way. I'll do everything I can to make it happen. But I can't promise you it will, no. I'm not that powerful.
What did I tell you?
You told me she lied to me.
We're not ready for you yet. We're frightened and insecure and defensive. I don't know if this makes any sense to you, but we need you as much as you need us. Maybe more. We can't go on the way we are. You can help us, Mr. El-Mahdi. You can save us from the mess that we're making. But we're not ready for you yet. You have to give us more time.
It's too late.
Please, God, no.
One more. I don't think so. I don't think all these thousands of people have come this far for show. I don't think so. This is all
Y ahora
fair people.
vienen cargándoles sobre los hombros. Dice el Mahdi, el líder carismático, quien les ha guiado a través del medio continente hasta llegar aquí. Desde donde yo me encuentro. Los que marchan parecen haber entrado al pueblo sin ningún tipo de oposición.
Stubborn, peg-headed dreamer, did you really think it would work? Well, I always knew it was a lousy idea. We're just not ready for you yet, that's all. Maybe later. Maybe one day. Dear God, I hope so. Or what sort of world are we making?